It's happening again with a bunch of discussions surrounding Giannis Antetokounmpo and the New York Knicks, with trades having died down for a bit. Now it is fully back as the Knicks have been revealed to have interest in Giannis, despite a contract extension for Mikal Bridges that many thought would put all these talks to bed. Well, the Knicks would also find a way to acquire a young player from the Bucks as well in this deal, and we are going to discuss all of this and break it all down. Guys, before we jump into that, make sure to subscribe if you're part of that 57% that's not subscribed to Knicks Digest. We have daily videos like this and many more coming out. We're going to get in that grind, have more than one video a day coming very soon as there's more NBA news as we're exiting that dog day period. But let's talk some New York Knicks basketball. Obviously, it's not lost on me that there's been a ton of Giannis discussions over the past summer in general. Giannis has been someone who, ever since really being non-committal about his future with the Bucks, there has been a ton of talks, and the Knicks have been at the forefront of that because of Giannis's love for New York City. Now, the Nets have also been pegged a ton as a team to watch out for Giannis as well with, and it does make sense. I mean, at the end of the day, the Nets do own the majority of the Knicks' picks, which does make it easier for them to pull off a trade for Giannis. The problem is the Nets don't have anyone on their team who's good at basketball, and because of that, it does make it sort of a weird situation as Giannis would feel no reason to stay unless a second trade were to be made to acquire them a Trae Young or something like that. But as long as it's the case, we know where Giannis would choose to play if he was allowed to just pick, and that would be the Knicks. If he wanted to leave the Milwaukee Bucks and could just pick his next team with zero consequences or financial implications of it all and still get that max contract in it all, it would be the Knicks. It makes the most sense. The Knicks are a team that's poised to contend and try to win the NBA Finals this year. The Bucks are, in the sense that Giannis is there, but it's not a very good team. And outside of that, you look at everything, Giannis's love for New York, the time he spends in New York City, and it makes sense that this would be the team that he would choose. Now, Giannis is over in Greece right now with their national team. There's a bunch of overseas basketball happening right now that is fun to watch. If you do need some basketball in your life, you can go check that out. But there has been a ton of talk surrounding the Knicks and Giannis. I mean, a while back, we did see James Edwards mention, like a week ago, that it is my understanding, as Edwards said, that Leon Rose and company have been monitoring Giannis' situation in Milwaukee very closely. Even before the offseason started, many around the league believe the Knicks are interested in star hunting, and while that opportunity hasn't popped up yet, Edwards said, I certainly believe it's in the cards if the right situation presents itself, with Grant Hughes then mentioning, Giannis' status as a deadline trade candidate is worth monitoring, has nothing to do with his tendency to be non-committal. It's all about the on-the-ground reality for his Milwaukee Bucks. The two ideas are linked in that Giannis' penchant for probably and twice reported openness to looking at other situations owes to Milwaukee bare asset cupboard and status as non-contenders. But it's the non-contender part that does matter the most for Giannis, with Hughes continuing by saying, barring a shocking overperformance, a roster led by Giannis Antetokounmpo and recently acquired center Miles Turner should keep the Bucks in the mushy middle of the East playoff race without any real shot at being better than that. For Giannis, a two-time MVP with a ring, that's just not good enough. Maybe the Bucks deserve credit for acting desperately to give Antetokounmpo the best possible supporting cast. Stretching Damian Lillard so they could sign Turner was brazen, but not to mention the deal that landed Lillard in the first place, or the one that onboarded Drew Holiday a few years prior. So basically, now what we've seen is Drew Holiday turn to Dame and Dame to turn to Miles Turner. And the thing is, the only one that had success with Giannis was Drew Holiday when they won the NBA Finals. And it wasn't just Drew Holiday being there. Yeah, he was a massive part of it, and they likely would not have won the NBA Finals. They would not have won the NBA Finals without him. They weren't going to beat the Nets. They probably wouldn't have been able to beat the Suns, too. Holiday had some of the most big plays in that Game 6, leading to that win with that steal that he had. Now, all that being said, since then, Damian Lillard and Giannis just did not work. Things just the Bucks, when you go all in and try to win a championship, your assets are going to become very limited, and once you keep trying to win, you're just going to start digging yourself deeper, hoping you find your way out on the other side, and a lot of times you don't. The Bucks found that situation, and now the Knicks are a team that has been interested in Giannis for a very long time, so much so that the sirens are out, or maybe it's just to arrest me for making another Giannis video, and because I keep fidgeting with my hair while I'm recording a video, which is something you don't want to do. Now, Giannis, again, he's had one of the greatest first 10 years in a career that anyone's really had. When you look at prime for prime, he matches up well with the greatest power forward in basketball history. I mean, obviously, Tim Duncan does have, 4 more championships than Giannis, but at the same time, what we see is a guy who does match up well with Tim Duncan, the greatest power forward to ever do it. Giannis is in position to try to become the greatest power forward of all time, but it's likely not going to be the case if he sticks with the Bucks because he's not going to win anymore. The Bucks are done. They're not going to be able to continue this. And I mean, Giannis is in rarefied air. He's one of 3 players to ever win MVP, Defensive Player of the Year, and Finals MVP. The other 2 being Michael Jordan, who's widely regarded as the greatest player of all time. It's crazy to not say he's the undisputed, but him and LeBron are very close. They're tied. You could say either one. It's not a wrong answer. And then Hakeem Olajuwon, who is absolutely phenomenal. And when Michael Jordan left for baseball or got suspended, whichever one you want to pick, Olajuwon won both titles that Jordan wasn't really there for. Yes, Jordan played like 17 games and came back for the playoffs, but he was rusty. He got the ball stolen from him. I don't want to say choked because he was rusty. But at the end of the day, what we've seen is 2 of the greatest players of all time, and then Giannis, who's right up there. And when you look at everything, when you consider everything about Giannis, it would make sense for him to want to leave based off the fact that, unlike a lot of the guys who've been mentioned in this video, these past greats, whether it's Tim Duncan, Michael Jordan, Hakeem Olajuwon, their front offices were good. Giannis's has not been good over the past couple of years. They've made mistake after mistake after mistake, and now they likely should be on the road to losing Giannis completely off their team, and it makes sense why that's the case. I mean, Dylan Backer mentioned from Empire Sports Media that Antetokounmpo's future with the team had already been up in smoke, and now it's even more murky. The Knicks would be the team to pounce on the opportunity should he become available, as they are already well positioned to win a title within the next few years. Pairing Antetokounmpo with Jalen Brunson could form the best duo in the entire league. It would. But acquiring a 2-time MVP still in his prime will cost a lot. It could spell the end of the Karl-Anthony Towns' time as a Knick. Meanwhile, along Mikal Bridges or OG Anunoby, New York may not want to blow up the team mid-season, but only time will tell if a trade for Bucks superstar or for the Bucks superstar will ever come to fruition. All eyes will be on him until he has a firm destination, and the Knicks will certainly be one of the teams pushing the hardest for him considering their situation. And I mean, you look at Giannis, there's very few players like him in NBA history. The man last season put up 30 points per game, 12 rebounds, 6.5 assists, shot 60% from the field, had a block and a steal per game. He's absolutely excellent. There's a reason why he's in the top 3 of MVP voting like every single year. And yeah, trading Karl-Anthony Towns for him wouldn't feel great when you look at Towns' numbers, putting up 24.5 points, 13 rebounds, 3 assists, having an excellent season with the Knicks, shooting 42% from 3, being an all-star starter. He did all the things that you would hope for from Karl-Anthony Towns, but at the same time, if you've got to trade for Giannis, you trade Karl-Anthony Towns for Giannis. I mean, let's be honest here. I did not mean for that to all rhyme. I'm sorry. But also, when you just consider this trade, it's also, there's a world where the Knicks, you do something like this, and trust me, there will be draft picks involved. I just didn't throw them in there because I set up this video the first day after waking up, so not gonna lie, it was a little shaky right there. It's been a few days. I've been away on vacation, so it was a little rusty right there, speaking of rust. But obviously, the Knicks would throw literally every single first-round pick they could possibly throw. I know a lot of them would be swaps, but the more time that goes on and Giannis hasn't requested a trade and the Knicks haven't made a deal, they'll get more unprotected picks down the line in the future, which they would obviously give up. They'd also, I guess they would trade Mikal Bridges. They get back Kuzma because Kuzma's not on a good contract, so there's that to consider. And then Tyler Smith as well, who the Knicks would bring in. The Bucks don't seem to care for Tyler Smith at all. It would give the Knicks that final roster spot that they're desperately looking for. And Smith is an interesting young player to have. He theoretically could shoot 3. He's 6'11", can play the power forward, can play the center. Only appeared in 23 games for the Bucks last year in his rookie season, putting up 3 points and 1 rebound. He shot 43% from 3 as well. Again, all these are limited attempts, so take everything with a grain of salt. He did play in the Summer League, and he did not play well at all. He shot 31% from the field and 27% from 3, so when you consider all that, it would make some sense that the Bucks just don't really care for him that much, and the Knicks would have to have Tyler Smith in there for that trade to work. It's not just like the Knicks get him. It's fully financially based. And then on top of that, the Knicks, again, they'd give up every draft pick possible. Look, as far as Giannis to the Knicks, I imagine the Knicks are going to be involved in trying to land Giannis as long as they can, doing whatever it takes to try to get him. It becomes a situation of there's going to be other teams out there that can probably pay more, but it all depends on if Giannis wants to say, trade me to the Knicks, and if the Bucks will adhere. What do you guys think is going to happen with all this? It's probably the last Giannis video I'm making for a very long time because I'm honestly surprised this got back in the news, but it did. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Like this video, subscribe, turn on post notifications. Have a great day, and go Knicks.